Okay, joining me now is Sharmishtha Mukherjee, the firebrand daughter who's no longer into politics. But this book, Pranab the Father, is obviously a collection of all that he used to write in the diary. But I know you've mentioned this in the book, but you used to meet him obviously, and did he go away with this one remorse that he could have been the Prime Minister, the PM which India never got?
Okay, Pallavi, before I answer your question, let me just show the book to the audience. And I do hope the reader would enjoy reading the book and come to know a lot more things, which goes behind the scene, and he being literally there, so even there are so many things I also did not know. And, as you say that, whether he went with a remorse, yes, definitely he had the desire, and he has told me also expressly, very clearly once during our conversation. And also what I found, but he also accepted the fact that he is never going to become one. And because he was not a mass leader, he realized very well that he could never become the number one person in terms of trustworthiness to Sonia Gandhi.
Dr. Manmohan Singh was also not the mass leader.
Yes,
but he does mention somewhere in the book.
So just a minute. So but what I felt and what I really, that's a lesson for me, that learning from my father's diaries, that yes, he desired it, but it's not that he was bitter about it. He accepted it. So that is also, I learned from his diaries that, okay, fine, you might really desire something, you might even feel that you deserve it. But if life doesn't give it to you, it's fine, you go ahead, move on. So he was never bitter about it, and he did not really regret it. And at the end of his life, just about a month before his passing away, I asked him about this, that Baba, did you have any regret about, not being the Prime Minister? He quoted a beautiful line from Tagore, Ki paini tare hishab milate monomor noheraji, that today I don't want to take into account that what I did not get. I was happy with what I got.
But I remember at one point, it's also there in the book where he says that I realize that there's a difference between the appreciation coming in from Sonia Gandhi and what she would give to you. It's not once but twice over, whether becoming the PM or even becoming the presidential candidate. There's a lot of heartburn on that also.
This is something I observed. Though Baba did not comment specifically anything about it, because I think he was too close to the events. But when I observed, and over years of reading his diaries, I realized that there is, whenever Sonia Gandhi praised him very high, and he was very happy about it, and he always wrote that high praise, high appreciation from Sonia Gandhi. But I realized that it usually came of withholding something what he
so when he
wanted
didn't
to
get
have.
something from her, she praised him.
Yes, she praised him otherwise also on many occasions. But yes, I could see this pattern that she would really praise him, but somehow at the end of it she would perhaps not give him something which he desired. This is a pattern I noticed. But my Baba did not write anything about it, but this is something I noticed reading his diaries over the years.
But then would you tell him that? Would you tell him that the party?
No, I did not read his diaries before he passed away. So how can I tell him that?
You used to notice. So did you ever tell him?
No. I came to know about it only after I read the diaries. And then when you read the diaries over many years of interaction, so you are having an outside observer's view. So of course, at that time, and even if I would have asked my father, once I asked him that, do you want to become the Prime Minister? He said, of course, any politician worth his salt wants to become the Prime Minister. So I said, why don't you talk to Sonia Gandhi about it? He said, and say what? Say what? And then he said that, I don't create a ruckus like you if I don't get something.
You do create a ruckus at home?
Yes, that's what my father said.
Okay.
So he actually diverted the point, and this is also something I realized over the course of my years of the conversation on this topic with him. So he was not very comfortable talking about it, and he always either diverted very smartly, he diverted the issue, or he snapped at me. So he was not very comfortable talking about it. But after reading his diaries, I presume I know him, and especially after reading his diaries and through conversations with him over the years, what I felt that he definitely wanted to become the Prime Minister, because as he said that any politician worth his salt would have this desire, but he also accepted the fact that he is not going to become one because of various reasons.
But Sharmishtha, a lot of the book is very scathing, which I think is going to evoke very strong reactions from your ex-party, if I want to call that, is on Rahul Gandhi. You know, I remember he particularly seems to be upset about the 2013 tearing of ordinance, and he says he's showing all the arrogance of the Gandhi-Nehru lineage minus their political acumen. In your conversations with him, was this something which come up very often, because you were in active politics and Rahul Gandhi was very much around?
Firstly, by the way, Rahul never actually physically tore the
whatever,
ordinance, but he said that it should be torn and thrown away, but he did not physically tear it off. Of course, I was the one, who broke the news to my father, and he was angry. I think, you probably have also, faced his anger a couple of times.
Yes,
so you know that, how angry he could become. His face became red, and he started shouting that, how could he do that? Who is he to publicly trash a decision of the government? He is not part of the government. So who is he to do it? And how could he? And that time the Prime Minister was visiting abroad. I think
he was
US.
in America.
He was in US. So he said, how could he even do that? How could he? Was very, very angry. And then later also he wrote in his diary that this gentleman has got every arrogance of the Gandhi-Nehru family without their political acumen. And he was definitely very upset about it. And I think from that time, his faith in Rahul Gandhi started, kind of being shaken a bit. And much later, after 2014, when I was talking to him about he was explaining me that what are the different, causes of the debacle of Congress. So he put this as one of the reasons, and he said, if the vice president of your party, that time he was the vice president,
yes.
The vice president of party shows such public disdain for his own government, why should people vote for you? So as per him, this was one of the reasons, why also. And it also showed that, some degree of immaturity, though Rahul Gandhi, to credit to him, I think he later on admitted that it was not the right thing for him to do. But in politics, every action matters.
Rahul Gandhi would go and meet your father very often. Did at some point of time, Pranab would tell Rahul Gandhi that what you did then was wrong? Or did he give him tips?
Firstly, I don't think after becoming president, Rahul Gandhi didn't meet him very often, but yes, sometimes he would. I didn't find any reference in Baba's writing that he specifically raised this issue with Rahul. But of course, he advised him. He got probably he got some feedback from the senior leaders of the party. There's those who were not very happy about Rahul's way of working. Some of them even complained that Rahul was not giving them time. So perhaps, because Baba did not write that based on the feedback of these leaders. So again, these are connecting the dots. But perhaps I felt that, with the feedback of the party, what he got, and also with his own political understanding. So he advised Rahul to have both, new and old people in his team. He advised Rahul to join the government so that, he gained some first-hand experience of the governance. And he had hopes from Rahul, because sometimes I remember once during the land ordinance that time. So he wrote in his diary that Rahul made a very good speech, and high time he learns. It's been, I think, 12 years by then. It's been 12 years of his being in the parliament, but better late than never. So, but again, he would be very disappointed when, with Rahul's very frequent absence, and
he mentioned that.
He mentioned that very specifically in his book, and in particular context of, there was one AICC program of Congress celebrating its anniversary, and it was immediately after 2014. And that he wrote about that Rahul's absence from the flag hoisting ceremony during the AICC, it's very odd, and I don't know, these kind of things are happening very frequently, and I don't know why he does it, but he's losing the battle of perception.